Guys, what's going on? Josh here from Polymathics, the YouTube channel that helps you become a modern day Renaissance man. And first of all, I want to apologize to everybody that I keep doing all these videos in my mobile station, my mobile studio, the car. But time has been really crammed with National Novel Writing Month. And also I'm taking a psychology class, so that's taking up a lot of time. But that's actually what I want to talk to you guys about today, is some Freudian studies that Freud did that I think will help you when dealing with your characters. And this is very congruent with yesterday's, or maybe it was the day before's, post on Archetypes. Sorry, I had a little brain fart there. So with Archetypes, we said those are sort of like stereotypes. They're symbolic or of a person's personality. And in the story, we come across characters that represents different angles of a personality, so that you get this holistic kind of approach. And with that, one of the best things you can do is create realistic responses from your characters. And so what Freud did in psychoanalysis is he discovered that there were several different coping mechanisms, and I'm going to try to go very quickly through all of them. And the reason is because depending on what your character is like, will be the method that will kind of dictate the coping mechanism that they use when confronted by things that they don't like. So, in no particular order, there's denial, which most of you guys have most everybody has heard of, that denial is a coping mechanism. They always say that the first step is, is overcoming denial. So, for example, if in your story someone dies, then then one of your characters, they could be like, no, I can't believe it. There's no way that that person died. Their mind, their psyche doesn't want to come to terms with that person's death. So that's denial. And there's a bunch of different, maybe your character's an alcoholic and they deny that they drink a lot. That's denial. Then there's repression. And repression is when it's similar to denial, in the sense that something so traumatic happened to your mind that it just doesn't want to think about it anymore. So it represses it, pushes it away, it tries to just forget about it completely. And so a lot of times, the way a character would represent this is, for example, with the death scenario again, they will try to eliminate anything that reminds them of that death. If it was someone in their family, they might remove all the pictures of that person, or any kind of triggers that will remind them that that person died. And so you can see how this could play out in a character, in the way they act, in the way that they present themselves to other people, in the way that they use their dialogue. Another method, another coping mechanism is rationalization. And rationalization is when a character will, or a person, but I'm in our sense, a character will rationalize what they're doing, despite the fact that at least their superego believes that they're doing something wrong. They rationalize it to be okay for the ego. And so the way that this works is, they see a donut and they know they're trying to lose weight, but they say, oh, you know what? I worked out earlier today, so I can eat this donut. So they rationalize it. Or they say, oh, hey, I'll work out later on today. Now, whether or not they actually do is a whole different story. But the point is that that is the way a character would rationalize, and it could be anything, you know. It could be stealing, it could be cheating, anything. Let's see. Then after rationalization, you have intellectualism, or intellectualization. The point is, and this would go really well with a logical character like Spock. So essentially what this is instead of allowing your, like, if something bad happens, your mind doesn't want to deal with it. So the way it copes with it is it intellectualizes it. So again, we'll go with the death example. If a friend of yours, or maybe not a friend, but let me think here. Okay, so you're at war and your side bombs targets and women and children were killed, right? And the logical person, the general or whoever in your story, they say, instead of saying, you know, we killed women and children, they were maimed and they bled. That's terrible, right? Your mind doesn't want to wrap around that. And so instead what they'll say is there was collateral damage. They intellectualize it. And they'll say that person expired instead of died. And it like softens the blow. It's softer language, but that's dangerous because what it kind of allows us to hear the facts but ignore the bigger problem. And so that can be a character. All of these things, all of these coping mechanisms, one, will make your character ring true because we've all encountered people like this in real life. And two, it will act as a good character flaw. You know, a person's coping mechanism is a type of character flaw. And so, hold on, I gotta look. So there's also sublimation. I want to save that one for the end. Let me make sure I'm not missing any other big ones here. Oh, displacement. So there's displacement. And what that is when, so again, we'll stick with the death example. Someone died and your character is extremely angry that they died. She wants to take revenge. She wants to do something to avenge the death, but she can't because it was the government and they had full authority to do that. And even though it's not fair, like, she can't do anything about it. So she comes home and she punches the wall. The wall didn't do anything, but she took her anger out on that wall. That's displacement. She displaced her impulse into a different target than the one that she wanted because she's afraid that if she took action, that it would affect her negatively. So that's another coping mechanism. And then the last one that Freud details is actually the only positive one that he sort of thought was a good mechanism, which is sublimation. And it's taking that which is in the psyche that bothers you and making it sublime. So, oh, I forgot one, but I'll go back to it. So sublimation, we'll just get to this one now, is when you, what's the word? Oh, you take those things that bother you and you're really passionate about, and you project them into the world through your vocation. You live your life towards trying to share it with the world. And so, for example, Freud did a whole study on Da Vinci and wrote a book about Da Vinci's works. And he said that Da Vinci's works were a reflection of his psyche, but it was a positive way for Da Vinci to do his, to get to work out his psychological problems. And believe it or not, writing is also a form of sublimation. So all of us out there writing right now essentially coping, using a coping mechanism, but a positive one, to come to terms with those things that are in our psyche. And then the one that I forgot, and I apologize, I wanted to do all the negative ones first, is, there's actually two. Reaction formation, which is you react very drastically to that thing which you're passionate about. And the example they use in the book that I'm studying here is homosexuality. So someone who has latent homosexual tendencies will get extremely, almost violently reactive when they come across things that challenge them, challenge their psyche, because they don't want to face it. So this is the person who like has huge picket signs and you know, talks really negatively about homosexuals. Or this is the politician who campaigns against pornography and then they find him with a prostitute. That's the kind of thing. It's and Freud goes into this whole you know, kind of explanation as to why, but essentially we've all known people like that too, who they seem so against something, but then we see them doing almost the same thing, right? They're so against all these vices and then they're out gambling. And you're like, wait, this doesn't fall under your religious beliefs or whatever, you know? So that type of hypocritical stance is something that would make for a very realistic character. And then the last one is something that we all have either done or been victim of, which is projection. And I think a lot of people are familiar with this, but it's when a person a person uses their surroundings to reflect what's in their inner psyche. So for example, if they feel as though they are a liar or a cheat, then instead of accepting the fact, because it bothers them so much that they are a liar and a cheat, instead of accepting that, what they do is they project it onto other people. So these are the people who are always saying, you know, the world is against me and everybody, you can't trust anybody because they're all snakes, and they, you know, people who talk like that, not that all of them are, but you have to question, especially if it's consistent, what's going on in their psyche. Why are they so fixated on that aspect of life? And so again, it makes for a really interesting character coping mechanism, is that if your character is constantly pointing fingers at other people, then it speaks to their psyche, and it also makes them a more realistic person. So hopefully this has been informative and helpful, and hopefully all of you guys are enjoying your coping mechanism, the sublimation, as you write for National Novel Writing Month. But until next time, you guys keep fighting the good fight and writing the good write. Take it easy.